Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be breaking down the Nhl Dfs slate for Tuesday, April 25th. We had ourselves just a 3-game slate here tonight, where I'm going to go through a couple of my favorite line stacks, some of my favorite individual plays, and some of my favorite value plays, and then we'll wrap up today's video talking a little prize picks. With that being said, let's dive into my spreadsheet here. And we're going to kick things off here like we always do in the top left-hand corner with those highest implied game totals. A little bit of everything here today. One game at 6.5, one game at 5.5, and one game at 5 goals even. And then take a look down here at the Vegas odds where you can see the Oilers, Hurricanes, and Stars are all favored to win here tonight. And then here's a schedule update. Again, a video here today, Thursday, and Friday breaking down each one of those NHL DFS slates, but nothing for Wednesday as we have just a 2-game NHL slate. And then Mulligan Masters Episode 3 is to be determined here this weekend. We were supposed to go golfing last weekend, but it ended up snowing here in Denver. Wasn't able to get out on the course. So that is to be determined, but we're trying to get something in the works. With that being said, let's dive into a couple of line stacks that I like here for tonight. Starting with that first line for the Dallas Stars, we got Hintz centering Robertson and Seguin. Now, obviously a lot of talent and upside here with these three, but really what I'm targeting is the Stars' #1 power play in this matchup tonight against Minnesota, which has been very good in this series so far, scoring at damn near a 44% rate. And I love the correlation we get with these three all playing up on the #1 power play. But yes, I'm probably going to mix in a Jamie Benn, probably going to mix in Miro Heiskanen. I kind of talk about that here in the notes off to the right-hand side. But for what it's worth, these three have been solid overall, having combined for 8 goals, 7 assists, 15 points through 4 games against Minnesota. And then a cheaper line stack that I like here tonight is that third line for the Los Angeles Kings. We got Velarde centering Fiala and Iafallo. Really saw them together for the first time in the playoffs here, with Fiala returning last game. And they certainly didn't disappoint, combining for 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points. They also led the entire team as a line in expected goals per 60 minutes at 4.36, so you do like to see that. Now, Fiala does play up on the #1 power play, whereas Velarde and Iafallo play down on the second, but they do log solid minutes together 5-on-5. If you wanted to, you could pivot off of Fiala here, do a little 2-man stack with Velarde and Iafallo, and mix in someone like Sean Durzi, who also plays on that #2 power play. Now, folks, before we dive into some of my favorite individual plays here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. And don't forget, episode 2 of Mulligan Masters dropped this weekend. As I mentioned throughout last week, I'm really trying to build a brand here under the GriffDogg channel, and one of the ways I wanted to do that was starting to give you guys some form of entertainment while still being sports related. That's what we did here with Mulligan Masters, so if you could go show this video some love, like it, leave a comment, and watch through it, I would truly appreciate that. The faster I can build this brand here under the GriffDogg channel, the more content I'm going to be able to get out to you guys. Alright, now diving into some of my favorite individual plays here, we're going to kick it off with the forwards. I'm going to highlight these first two guys together in Leon Draisaitl and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and honestly, just mix in Evan Bouchard there. All three of those guys playing together on the #1 power play, and then you'll see Draisaitl and Nugent-Hopkins play together on that second line. Look, Leon's been the best player in this series so far against the LA Kings on both sides. 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points through 4 games. Second on this team here in shot attempts, just behind Evan Bouchard. Really like the way that he's playing. You could definitely go with Connor McDavid. We all know that, but he's so expensive in the 10K range. I'll take that savings and salary here, save $2,000, go to Draisaitl, who's put up 26 plus DraftKings points now in 3 of the 4 games. Truly been phenomenal in this series so far. Now, with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, he's only got 3 assists so far in this series. Really hasn't been all that great, but we know the offensive upside is there. He proved that all season long. Now, with these next 2 plays here, I kind of mentioned this in the notes off to the right-hand side. Not really interested in that game between the Hurricanes and Islanders tonight. Islanders on the verge of elimination. 2 really good defensive teams. Just don't think we're going to see a lot of goals there tonight. And I know we've seen more goals in that series than any of us probably expected to begin with, but yeah, I foresee this being a low-scoring, tight defensive matchup here tonight. Implied totals at 5 goals right now, but being that it is just a 3-game slate, I wanted to show a little love to this game. I went with Martin Necas here on the Carolina side of things, plays on that second line in #1 power play. He's got 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points in 4 games, nothing to brag about, but he does lead all forwards on this team in shot attempts and shots on goal, so he's definitely trying to create opportunity, but again, just don't have a lot of interest in this game overall. $5,300 though for Nhl. Not a bad play. And then with Anders Lee there on the Islanders side of things, you gotta expect that they're going to be even more desperate here tonight on the verge of elimination. Lee has been solid, I suppose. He's only got 1 goal in this series, but he does lead the team in shots on goal and has a Corsi percentage of 58%, which isn't bad. But again, I really just don't have a lot of interest in this game here overall. But if I had to pick someone on the Islanders, it'd be with Anders Lee on that first line and number 1 power play. And then I got Marcus Johansson there of the Minnesota Wild, who surprisingly leads this team in expected goals through 4 games against the Dallas Stars. He's been able to turn that into 2 goals so far. No assists on the score sheet yet, but I do like the way that he's playing overall. You can see there 10 plus DraftKings points in 3 of 4 games against the Dallas Stars. Again, 2 goals here in this series. I like the way he shot the puck in game 1, 7 shots on net, but just 1 shot on net here in each of the last 3 games. You'd like to see him have a little more volume there, but outside of that, a guy who plays on the second line, plays up on the number 1 power play, and no team has taken more minor penalties than the Dallas Stars so far in the playoffs this year, so I certainly don't mind targeting that number 1 power play for the Wild here tonight, considering it is a 3-game slate. Now, moving over here to the defensemen, and I mentioned this last week, I'm probably going to sound like a broken record at times, talking about the same playoff series over and over again. That's especially true with the defensemen because I'm really targeting them on the power play and stacking them up with forwards on the same power play. So Brent Burns here, the Carolina Hurricanes, plays on the first power play. Miro Heiskanen of the Dallas Stars plays on the first. Evan Bouchard of the Edmonton Oilers plays on the first. Oilers have the best power play in the league, and they have all year long. And then John Klingberg there of the Minnesota Wild. So all 4 of these guys playing 20 plus minutes, play on their team's number 1 power play, and that's where I'm stacking them up tonight. And then with the goaltenders here, yes, I'm listing 2 goalies from the same game between the Hurricanes and Islanders. Not typically something that I do, however, I just think this game tonight between those 2 teams is going to be a tight defensive affair with the Islanders on the verge of elimination, whereas the other 2 games, the series is tied 2-2. And for what it's worth, both the Islanders and Hurricanes notoriously play better defensively than most teams in the NHL. We saw that all year long. So Antti here, the Carolina Hurricanes, Ilya Sorokin of the New York Islanders. Those are the 2 goalies that I'm probably going to play here the most. But again, being that it is just a 3-game slate here tonight, 6 goalies to choose from, I really don't think we can discount any one of these goaltenders. However, I will say my next 2 favorite are in that series between the Stars and Wild with Gustafsson and Ottinger. Obviously, the implied total with the Kings and Oilers at 6.5. We've seen that game turn into a shootout. I don't necessarily love that, but that probably is the contrarian play if you want to go with Korpisalo or Stuart Skinner. And as always, going to wrap up the spreadsheet here with 3 low-priced options or sub-4K forward plays. First guy I got there is Freddie Gaudreau of the Minnesota Wild, currently playing on the 3rd line and number 2 power play. I'll like him even more if we see him get bumped up to that 2nd line tonight with Johansson and Boldy replacing Sam Steele. He's got 2 goals so far in this series through 4 games, hitting 2.8, 12.8, 14.5, and 17.4 DraftKings points in those 4 games. Not bad at all for a guy priced at $3,900. Next is Stefan Noesen of the Carolina Hurricanes, plays on the 3rd line in number 1 power play, and that's primarily where I'm targeting him. You could play him as a one-off for sure, but of his 4 points in this series, all 4 have come on the power play with 2 goals and 2 assists. And then Evgeny Donanov there of the Dallas Stars plays on that 2nd line in number 2 power play. And actually, I quite like that 2nd line as a stacking option tonight with Wyatt Johnston and Jamie Benn. They've shown some really nice upside, especially at home in this series. But Donanov, a solid one-off play as well at $3,500. He's got 3 goals so far in this series against the Wild. And then to wrap up today's video here, want to talk a little prize picks with you guys. guys, got 2 picks sticking out to me here right away, and yes, I will put these in a comment below on this video. I'll write out those explanations, pin that comment, and don't forget, I'll post all my picks in my Discord channel too. If you want to join that, there's a link to do so in the description below. But I got Tyler Seguin there of the Dallas Stars over 2.5 shots on net, Adrian Kempe over 3.5 shots on net. You could also go here with Victor Arvidsson at 3 shots on goal even. If you want that half-point hook there, you could certainly take the over on him, remove Adrian Kempe, but I do prefer Kempe myself. I'm going to pull open some stats here so far through each of these playoff series. You can see starting there with Adrian Kempe, leads the team with 39 shot attempts through 4 games. That's led to 20 shots on goal, essentially averaging 5 shots on net per game. And I do like his Corsi percentage as well at 54%. But you can see Victor Arvidsson here, 58% Corsi percentage. He's got 31 attempts, 15 shots on net. Not a bad play either. And then with Tyler Seguin there, you can see he's third on the team with 26 shot attempts, 16 shots on goal, actually leads the team, averaging above 4 per game. And being that he's up on that first line and #1 power play right now, really like that 2.5 number. And you can see his Corsi percentage is at 61%. So those are my 2 favorite overall plays. Tyler Seguin over 2.5 shots on net, Adrian Kempe over 3.5 shots on net. But again, I do think Victor Arvidsson is a solid play as well at over 3 shots on goal. Now, for those of you who have not signed up for Prizepicks yet, but you want to get in on this action, I got a promo code that you should definitely take advantage of. When you're signing up, use my promo code GRIFF. GRIFF, and Prizepicks is going to give you all the way up to a $100 match deposit. Now, you don't have to put $100 in either if you don't want to. You could put in 50, you could put in 20, you could put in 10. Again, they'll match anything up to $100 as long as you use my promo code GRIFF, GRIFF, upon signing up. Alright everyone, that's going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great day here, folks. Let's win some money on this 3-game slate. In the meantime, I'm out of here.